Hi, everybody. This is Ashley Boyd. This is Angela. Angela, can you please tell us who you are and what you do? I'm super excited for this interview.
Yes, thank you, Ashley, for having me. I'm Angela Benck, and I'm an empath. I'm an energetic intuitive, and I'm an integrative life coach. I also specialize and work with a lot of people in the ayahuasca medicine community. So I work with a lot of people in plant-based medicine. I also work with the divine masculine and divine feminine, and just being able to bring that energy forward in realizing that's what's within and how to create and move that forward in your own life.
I love that. It's such a great umbrella of all the tools and tricks that you have gathered over the years of what you teach. So how did you really discover that you had these abilities within you? Like, did you have an aha moment, or did you just realize and kind of go about your journey? Like, everybody's so different that I want people to know that everything is okay, but everything has a different journey along the way.
Absolutely. I chose a really, really hard path. I chose to have a lot of suffering, and I had a really, really difficult childhood with a lot of trauma and sexual abuse. And I always knew I was different. So like I could see spirits. I've always had one foot in the spiritual world and one foot in, I guess, the 3D reality or this world. And I just had enough conditioning that kept me hiding it. And so I was probably my teenage years, like early 20s, when I could start to actually bring this forward, because I went into the healing arts and started doing Reiki and acupuncture and massage therapy. And that really kind of gave me permission to open up to that part of myself again and really start to heal what kept me hiding that. And so that was the biggest part of my journey is just me hiding me, me not being seen. And then the more that I could peel off the conditioning and layers of that and really step into owning that, the more that I've been able to help others do the same and just really step into being a teacher.
I love that, because it's so true with so many of us, is that we have gone through this journey and we're choosing a difficult path, because most of the time when I talk to people, it seems as though we're either afraid to acknowledge like what we are experiencing, afraid to let people know what we're experiencing because they might dub us crazy, or just really confused. And I think it's a huge thing that people hear, that it's okay to feel like these things, and it's okay to be nervous about it. And you don't have to like jump into it all at once. You can definitely like wean yourself into who you really are, so you're not so nervous.
Absolutely. I think a big thing too for a lot of empaths and intuitives is like pull back from feeling like you need to fix anyone or that you need to heal the world. And that everything that we're feeling, there's going to be a point of resonance because we're feeling it in our own selves and in our own journey. And the more that you clear that, the lighter you are, and the more that you're able just to shine, because it's just us shining that we're holding space and giving people permission to do that for themselves.
Oh, that's so true and so perfect, because I feel like as a nurse and an empath, like I'm a fixer. I've got to fix everybody and anybody and realize that it just is not a good thing. Like I was telling one of my clients, like you can sprinkle just a little bit of goodness on people, but instead, why don't you just like give yourself the permission to really clear your energy so you can help everybody in the biggest way by being the best example for them. Instead of doing just a little bit, you can serve everybody in a different way. And she was just like, oh, I never thought about it like that. And it's just such a huge gift that you can really hone in on yourself and let yourself's energy like be clear and not feel so bogged down, so then you can give more.
Absolutely. And I really feel like that comes down to we're moving from an old mindset of changing stuff from the outside in. Mm-hmm. And that's really just owning who you are and clearing that and then being that in the world. And so that's from the inside out. And it's being able to shift from the mind to the heart, right? The heart wants to live from the inside out. The mind's like, wait, it's the outside in. So it's just being able to align the heart and the mind and let the heart lead and the mind can follow. And then you're just showing up as your best self. Absolutely. And it's a daily practice, it's again and again and again.
Yeah, I think some people might think like this is just like an automatic thing that happens. Well, eventually it might be because you just become in such of a habit of clearing yourself, but it's like a constant like battle for myself. It's like there's a little internal war because I'm always wanting to fix people, and especially with everybody's energy, if I go into the hospital, it's like and then it's like you got to get rid of it. But you just have to realize that it's always a work in progress, and to always give yourself some credit for being that work in progress, and don't get so upset with yourself if you feel a little crappy or you are curious but you just don't know which route to go down.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important. I have a client recently that I feel like sometimes people condemn themselves. You know, you're judging that you're not doing it perfect, you're not doing it right, or you're not helping. And then, you know, that's just the ego or the small self that's going to keep you where you're at. And so self-compassion and self-love, like that's the way to go. The more that you can cultivate that, the more that you can be that. And like you said, give yourself a break. It's not that serious, and you're not here to save the world.
Totally agree. It's you can save a person at a time, but not the whole world. That's kind of how I do it. So what tips and tricks do you have for anybody who might be learning about spirituality, or maybe have had a spiritual awakening and just like are like, holy crap, I'm so overwhelmed? Like what could you tell somebody?
A couple of things like I love and I turn to, I always say plant medicine, but you can do that with essential oils. You can do that with Rescue Remedy. It's a great tool for empaths. It's at every health food store. I think I have a bottle right here because I tell a lot of my clients, I've used this for about 20 years. I have no affiliation. I'm not plugging anything because of anything other than it's helped me on my journey. It's to me the plant equivalent of like Valium. If you're peeking through and having overwhelmed stress, rather than turning to pharmaceuticals, to me, plants aid us in raising our vibration and keeping our vibration and our energy clear. I do think it's really important, and something I practice regularly is just going, and you can't do it obviously in the winter months if it's snow, but going and standing on the earth, you know, barefooted. And they actually even have grounding pads or even grounding things that you can buy where you can put them on your phone or your wrist or wear something in your pocket. This because we're an electromagnetic system. And there's also things you can eat that can help you ground, like, and I people, if they aren't dairy friendly, you know, you can probably find a vegan option, but cottage cheese and flaxseed oil, because it actually helps to lubricate your nervous system and helping the messages fire, which I'm sure you know on a biological level. We're a nervous system, so we can get fried. You know, if you're not grounded and if your nervous system isn't firing messages, then you're going to feel frazzled. Your system's going to be reversed. So a lot of nutrition supplements are going to help you, again, to keep your energy clear and keep your vibration raised. So to me, those are some of the foundation things I always look at with people that I meet regularly, or clients that I work with, just to see how their biological system is being able to hold their energy so that they can continue to upgrade.
I think that's so important. Our inner guidance system is literally the central nervous system. And I always tell people, we're 98% water, so you need to make sure that you're drinking enough water to get your cells going. And I always talk about electrolytes. It's major. And also, obviously, the best food that you could have and supplements to make sure that you are at a good vibration. And I always tell my clients, they look at me kind of crazy, but I always talk to my water, because you can raise the vibration of your water before you drink it. And people are like, what? And like, when I tell people that at the hospital, they look at me like I have like screws loose. And I'm like, no, it's true. Like, it's actually clinically documented that you can raise the vibration of your water before you take it. So why not start ahead of the game instead of behind the game? So I think that's major. So that's amazing. Great tips. I think that's a lot of people might not think of the nutritional aspects of it. That's one of the number one things I teach is the food is for fuel, and the best fuel that you can have is to get I always relate it to a car, to get your engine going. And so your organs are functioning at the optimal rate, so you can have the best vibration and frequency you can.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't specialize in that. So I don't necessarily like go in that direction, but I definitely think that's foundational for most people.
Absolutely.
And then like on an energy or thought level, you know, gratitude, obviously every successful person on the planet will say gratitude. That's hands down. But intention, I'm talking about intention through and through, because every thought and feeling you're having is an intention. So the more that we can be directly focused on our intentions, you're creating thoughts. So I do a simple exercise where I'm like, have an intentional first thought, like when you first wake up. And so if you're not happy with your life or your body, start there. Start like put it in a positive frame that's going to feel good, that's going to bring that energy and direct that flow for that day. And then I say also do that with your last thought, because that's going to drill down into your subconscious, into your sleep mode. It's going to impact that restorative time, but also that energy will carry you forward to the next morning. So if people are struggling with getting up, it's like have the intention when you go to sleep that I'm going to have a restful sleep and wake up energized. I cannot tell you how many times I've done that where I was going to only have 3 hours of sleep. And then, but I consciously had the thought, no, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have that 3 hours be restorative, wake up energized. Obviously, I predominantly sleep 8 hours or maybe even 9. But if there's times, window times where things get crazy, being really intentional is going to continue to bring you back to direct your energy again and again and again. And having foundational intentions, you just build on that. I had a client ask me, how many intentions can you have? I'm like, it's limitless. How many thoughts do you think in a day or in 60 seconds?
Right.
So many that we're not utilizing our energy in a really thoughtful, focused, high vibe way.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Angela. Angela, let everybody know where they can find you.
You can check me out at my website. It's Angela Benck. That's BENCK.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. It's all under my name, Angela Benck, BENCK. Awesome. And what's great is I don't think there's anyone with my same last name in the world.
That's amazing.
I scored the jackpot with that one.
Right. No doubt. That's perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you, Angela. I know this was amazing. I know that everybody's going to love to hear more from you. So this is just very informational. And I think that everybody needs to just continue to work on themselves. And I think that you gave some amazing tips and tools.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for having me. It's been a pleasure.